Welcome to the Sun Parlour Coffee House Sessions. I'm Jan Hall from Folk Roots Radio. We're here at the Arts Centre in Leamington for a very special edition of the sessions today. We have Rob Lutes from Montreal joining us. He is an absolutely fabulous singer-songwriter. And we're live because we have a live studio audience with us. Now, Rob Lutes is a multi-Maple Blues and Canadian Folk Music Award nominated performer. He has built a wonderful reputation for the quality of his songwriting and the wonderful bluesy delivery he has, whether he's playing solo as he is for us today, whether he's playing as a duo or with a band. He's a great fingerstyle player, and he also just puts on an absolutely fabulous show with this incredibly soulful voice. We're so pleased to have him join us today. His last album, 2017's Walk in the Dark, has been critically acclaimed, and it actually was my favorite album of 2017. I'm so excited to welcome him to the Sun Parlour Coffee House Sessions. So ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rob Lutes.
Well, take it nice, take it slow, take it just like an evening stroll. Don't scramble up the ladder every day. Oh, you gotta walk on by with no regrets to pay. Show your smile, feel your bones, treasure things nobody owns, and stretch your mind across the dials that stay. Oh, you gotta teach your heart to dance the dark away. And then you look up to the mountain, there is a fire that burns at night. You go down, watch that water run with ease. You walk in the creaking forest, baby, it's just there out of sight. We are all in a world where the wonders never cease. No. Tune your dial to the happy tunes, bloom your prettiest flower blooms, and lose yourself like a little child at play. Oh, you gotta turn your face toward that sun today. Here we go now. A fire that burns at night. You go down, watch that water run with ease. You walk in the creaking forest, baby, it's just there out of sight. We are all in this world where the wonders never cease. No, they don't. We all get this lucky break every morning that we're wide awake. Put your worries down, let it blow a little kiss your way. Oh, you just might find a little bit of joy today. I know you're gonna find a little bit of joy today. Yes, you will. Oh, yeah. Thank you. It's called Walk in the Dark. Well, come out with me where the old dogs bark. What is life but a walk in the dark? They never caught us, but they rattled our hearts. What is life but a walk in the dark? We had to find our way. We had to get lost someday. Racing down the boulevard, stranded in our own backyard. We're just shadows moving through an empty park. What is life but a walk in the dark? We blew on the fire and we made some sparks. What is life but a walk in the dark? We go so far from home, and you get chilled to the bone, searching for familiar light out beneath the stars at night. Oh, whoa, oh, yes, oh. Down here is an imperfect art. What is life but a walk in the dark? We hold it together and we fall apart. What is life but a walk in the dark? But won't you turn around? Look at all the love we found. Surely we can raise a smile and carry on for one. Whoa, oh, yes, oh, Thank you. This is called Cold Canadian Road. Madness seethes and goodness bleeds like a bull teased inside my head. When the calm concedes, I know that beast still breathes. I was a fool when I left him for dead. And I cry, whoa, and I think, oh no, I don't want to slide down this slope again. I'm on this cold Canadian road, and I've come so many miles just to make it here. Well, I was born and raised in a soft, warm haze, but those memories I mostly forget. Those early days in that small town maze, they were nothing like this stretch that I've hit. When I cry, whoa, and I think, oh no, well, I'm lost in the twilight again, climbing this cold Canadian road. And I've come so many miles just to make it here. Well, I looked for the signs that you sent me in lines, and I followed hill, and the sun slithered down at the far edge of town, and I was wandering still, and the minutes turned to hours, and the light lost its power, and I almost lost my will. But I knew I cared despite my frozen stare, so I prayed for the trail to be lit. I sent up flares in that desperate night air, just 10 miles from the house where you sit. And I cried, whoa, and I said, oh no, I can't feel, I can't fight, and I don't fit. And I've climbed this cold Canadian road for far too many miles just to make it here. For far too many miles just to make it here. Just to make it here. Thank you. All right. Get yourself up to dance. Let your tight grip get kind of light. There's a brand new stance and some words we could recite. Well, forgive, forgive. Time is moving fast. You got to give up hope of a better past. Life's a short song, baby, so show your moves off tonight. There's a brand new view with the dark glasses off of your eyes, and a brand new you that lives, that don't philosophize. Well, forgive, forgive. When days are overcast, you got to give up hope of a better past, and those clouds are gonna clear and show you those beautiful blue skies. Hallelujah, baby, I swear I'm telling it true. Now, I wouldn't fool you, no, it's what the world wants you to do. 'Cause when the end is near, we got to let go anyway, yes we do. Love will speak, my dear, will you hear what it has to say? Well, forgive, forgive, you can end your fast. You got to give up hope of a better past. You know the hardest part, honey, is to get out of your own way. Here we go now. Hallelujah, baby, I swear I'm telling it true. Forgiveness will soothe you, it's gonna make you feel almost brand new. So get yourself up to dance, let your feet get funky on the floor. Give your soul a chance, let your sunken spirit soar. Well, forgive, forgive, time is moving so fast. You got to give up hope of a better past. Let's leave it all tonight, baby. I'll be waiting by the kitchen door. Oh, let's leave it tonight, baby. I'll be waiting by the kitchen door. Yes, I will. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
That's Rob Lutes live for the Sun Parlour Coffee House sessions at the Leamington Arts Centre. This is the first time we've ever done this, and I'm so pleased that actually you're the artist that gets to do it.
Oh, thanks, Jan. It's a beautiful space. It's really been a fun ride so far. Thanks.
Now, I mentioned at the start of the show how much I loved Rob Lutes' latest album, remember, it's A Walk in the Dark. That album has done tremendously well because you're up for 2 Maple Blues Awards, I think Acoustic Act of the Year, and what's the other one?
Male Vocalist of the Year.
Male Vocalist of the Year. And then you also have a Canadian Folk Music Award nomination for Contemporary Singer.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
isn't
also,
that cool?
Yeah. And I should note that it also is nominated for a GAMIC. It's a Quebec Independent Music Award for Folk Album of the Year. And it was #1 on Folk Roots Radio in 2017. Yeah.
It is a fantastic album. Now, I think first met at Eaglewood, at the wonderful Eaglewood Folk Festival that sadly
Now defunct,
is no longer with us. And that was probably 7 or 8 years ago,
Yeah,
I
about
think.
that, yeah.
You play solo like you are today. You also play with Rob MacDonald a lot.
Yeah.
And then you also have the band Sussex, which we'll talk a little bit about. But let's turn the clock back and let's talk about how you got started in music.
I got started in music. I was just very young. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, so I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers, and they're all into music. And I kind of was, a few years after all the rest of them. So I had the benefit of being at home when I was like 3 and 4 and having access to their record collections and a little stereo that I just used. I didn't really have permission. And I just started playing their albums. And I remember when I was like 4 and 5 years old, like going down and putting on their records and singing along with Three Dog Night and the Bee Gees and, Joni Mitchell and you name it. And I caught it. That's when I caught it right there. Yeah.
And did you always think that music would become your career, or was it just, this is kind of fun, this is a great hobby to have?
You know what? I didn't really think about it that way. I think I come from a family of non-musicians, My mother played piano, but there was, I think you'd have to go back like 25 generations to find a professional musician in my family. There's just, it doesn't exist. So the idea of being a musician was real, as a profession, was not really anything I ever dreamt of. I just started to do it. And when I started out, I kind of made this commitment that I would, because I loved it so much, I just said, no matter what I do, I'm always going to do this. And then really what happened was it started to get busier and busier, and it got to a point where I couldn't hold a day gig because I was always asking to leave, And the most understanding boss, even the most understanding boss was having a little bit of an issue with me being there half the time. So, so I decided just to go full time.
So tell us about your recorded work. We mentioned the last album, Walk in the Dark, has done fabulously. The album before that, Bravest Birds, was also very well received.
Did really well. It was went to #1 in Europe and spent a long time on the Roots Music Report, top 10. And that was a really nice record. I mean, I feel like I've made 7 albums, and I guess most artists would tell you that they like them all, but I really feel lucky that it's all about finding the right people to help you. And from the very beginning, my first album I recorded in 1999, and I found an engineer who had experience, and I didn't know anything. And I'm proud of the sound of all of my albums, so I'm really happy about that. It's because it's easy to get waylaid or misdirected in terms of sound, but I feel like I always had really good people with me, and really that's what it comes down to, is having the right team together. Because I sing and write, but the engineering and recording part of it is a whole other world,
And you quite clearly love the blues. I know you played the Joseph Spence tune for us today, and you love to tell stories about the blues.
Absolutely.
Do you remember back? I mean, was that the music that really spoke to you when you were starting to explore? You mentioned, Three Dog Night, Joni Mitchell, and a few other people you listened to as a kid. But
right.
Can you talk about what it was like when you discovered the blues?
I think the blues was infused in a lot of that 70s acoustic pop. There was a lot more blues that was just more evident in that music. But I think really what happened was as I continued on in my career, I became more curious about the origins of what I was writing. And I started to look backwards. And there's probably the artist that kind of really clued me in and inspired me in terms of a blues sense would have to be Chris Smither, who made a few records in the early 70s and then took a long hiatus until the 80s. But in terms of a writer, he's been, the biggest influence. And he kind of does what I try to do, which is, you channel the blues and you have the blues in there, but you kind of push the edges a little bit. You kind of walk on the edge of blues and folk and all these other genres, and really focus on lyrics. So, but I think he was probably the biggest influence for sure.
One of the things I love about your performance is the way that you effortlessly, or it appears effortlessly, take control of the room. I mean, you can see how comfortable you are with the audience here today. You had people singing along in the first set.
Right.
Is that something that came natural to you, or did you something that you really had to work at?
No, absolutely had to work at it, and I was not one of these naturals. In fact, I used to envy. I used to play gigs with people who were absolute naturals. So some friends of mine, and they just walk on stage, they would and they're at home. I was terrified of being on stage, and it took years and years of just kind of figuring out that as a performer, you need to, and it's really in truth in life, and I don't want to get overly philosophical, but it's like forgiveness, right? So the hardest person to forgive is yourself. So if you mess up, you've got to be able to just ride it. And I think the last album, the album Walk in the Dark, is emblematic in a way of that, because my engineer, Rob Heaney, is kind of a legend in Quebec, and we embrace this idea of mistakes, of honest performance. And that record, we didn't overmix it, we didn't overwork the performances, we kind of did a live record, and it's got a lot of feel, and there's so much feel when things are real. And
absolutely,
yeah. So I think that's where it's come from me on stage. But now, I adore performing. I love it.
Which is interesting you say that, because when I first heard Walk in the Dark, that's exactly how I felt. I mean, that's the reason I do radio. I do radio for the albums like yours that come in. I mean, you were a performer that was known to me. You must feel pretty good about the responses you get, getting up for awards and that sort of thing when you produce an album like that.
It's great. It's a great feeling. It's gratifying. And in a world where album sales are plummeting, I'm still, able to sell a lot on stage and through other means. And I think it's kind of thing where people don't have as much opportunity in a mainstream level to get into an intimate setting and see a show, kind of experience it. And I think that when they do, I think people really dig it, and I think that's kind of that's the witness protection program that I'm in. It's the sort of, circuit of rooms where people want to go and have an authentic experience of a musician. So,
you've done wonderfully well with A Walk in the Dark. The question is, well, what happens next?
Well, I'm actually making 2 records right now, and so I'm making a Sussex record with my friend Michael Emino, plays the vibraphone, and we have a horn section. It's kind of a funky, different sound. We're making a record with that, and we're also making another Rob Lutes record, and they're both going to be out in 2019. They're both due for delivery. So yeah.
I've actually learned not to pressure musicians too much, because sometimes when they get in an interview, we're having so much fun, they'll say, oh yeah, it's going to be out next year. And of course, next year comes and we're looking at the year after.
Next year is fine, as long
real life intervenes.
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. But these are going to be done next year. But we may have to edit that out of this. But that's what the plan is anyway. Yeah, I'm working on the writing right now, and I've got some stuff ready. I'm excited about it. Yeah.
No, that's great. If people want to learn more about your music, how can they do that?
They can go to roblutes.com, ROBLUTES.com, or they can go to SussexVibrafolk.com.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You've got one more song left for us to play. What is it going to be?
I'm going to do a song called Ride the Shadows. It's from a record I released in 2006, and it's just one of these tunes that takes me back, and I'm going to play it on my old Blueberry guitar.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Rob Lutes live at Leamington Arts Centre for the Sun Parlour Coffee House Sessions.
This is called Ride the Shadows. Well, I think of you, I want to take you in deep waterways where we'll sink or swim. I'll build a boat and we can disappear, and we'll ride the shadows, never be insincere. 'Cause out upon that fickle wind I will not furl my sail again, and if we shed all a million tears, we're gonna ride those shadows, never be insincere. 'Cause the currents rise and then they fold, the angry world birds that I've been told they drift away when I have you near. Oh, we're gonna ride those shadows, never be insincere. In a holy smoke or heavy fire, tell me, darling, oh, how were you raised? Yes, 'cause I awoke in a deadly mire, and I crawled out of a haze. So just tell the boys I'm leaving home. I'll pull the oars till we're alone in daylight's wake. When the night is near, we're gonna ride those shadows, never be insincere. Here we go now. In holy smoke or heavy fire, tell me, darling, oh, how were you raised? Yes, 'cause I awoke in a deadly mire, and I crawled out of a haze. Oh, but life is where you sell your heart, you fill it up or you fall apart, and you find a way, Lord, when the road is unclear, to ride the shadows, never be insincere. So I know you're out across the sea, finding things to bring to me, but all I want is to have you here, where we can ride those shadows, never be insincere. Yeah, we're gonna ride those shadows, never be insincere. Yeah, we're gonna ride the shadows, never be insincere. Thank you.